My next guest starred in the long-running TV series Wings. You can now be seen every Thursday night on the ABC series Private Practice. Please welcome Tim Daly. It's funny because I announce you and I talk about Wings. I mention Wings, and a bunch of people in the audience just started applauding. People really loved that show, and it was on for a long time. You must still get people where that's imprinted in their brain, that no matter what else you do in life, you were on Wings.
That is true, and it's odd because, you know, I remember nothing about it whatsoever.
Right.
But apparently there are a lot of people out there who, you know, have it imprinted on their frontal lobes, and they quote to me things about it. And, you know, I mean, I have actors come up to me and say, "Remember that scene we did in Wings?" And I'm like, dude, I can't remember.
Right. No. Well, that happens. Well, you have serious issues, but you can't remember most things in life. But what about when you get on an airplane? That's the other problem with being on a show like that, is now I'm just imagining you getting on an airplane and everybody feels like they have to make a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like 15 years ago when I got on an airplane and somebody said, hey, if something happens to the pilot, you can fly the plane. So I was like, that's funny. Now it's like, oh, dude, I mean, can you please, we have to move on from this joke.
I'm sorry I made that joke. I thought it was a way it would bond with you on an airplane.
Yeah, that didn't work for you. But, you know, I mean, it's kind of sweet that people still remember. But, you know, it was an odd experience because when Wings first started on this network, it was hated by the critics. Everybody hated it. And then somehow everybody started to love it. It was like, you know, what everybody hated, they now loved. Bad became good, and the world turned upside down, and now everybody likes it. I'm happy.
Right. Well, that's good. You're happy. They're happy. You know, I was talking about my kids a bit tonight on the show, and talking about with Kate Hudson about she has a 5-year-old, I have a 5-year-old. You have kids. You seem like a young guy to me, but you have older kids.
Yes.
You must have started quite early. How old are your kids?
I started in utero, actually.
Yeah, I've heard that's possible.
Yes, before I was born, I started having kids.
Very nice.
Yeah, you know, I just didn't screw around, got right down to it, and now.
What a romantic way to talk about it. I'm not screwing around. Let's get down to it.
Let's get this done. Let's get her done.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have these two, you know, fantastic children who are smarter, funnier, cooler, you know, more talented, and basically better human beings than I am. So I've achieved my genetic imperative. Now I can wither up and die.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. I'm Tim Daly. How old's your son?
He's 24.
24. Okay, so that's like this is a grown adult man you're hanging out with.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's so much cooler than I am that it's really weird because, you know, I went to this party. Who's this guy? Some hip-hop guy that I didn't know. I was at some party for this guy.
You forget things quickly.
I do. And my son is like chest bumping with the guy and high-fiving and talking about stuff. And I'm at this party, and the invite came through me, but he was obviously the star of the whole thing. So, and my daughter's here with me tonight. She's 19, and she's very cool. She goes to Columbia, so. You know, I get to hang out with them. It's fun.
My kids were cooler than me the second they were born. I set the cool bar so low for my kids.
I was going to say, that's not...
All right, then. Again, we're out of time. Now, you come from an acting family. I sort of, you know, my parents are professionals, lawyers and doctors, and then I jumped into this business, and people are, you know, what's that all about? You actually come from a family where I imagine they were very supportive about your acting because they're all actors.
Well, you know, I think it's more like a congenital disease in my case that, you know, my sister caught and I caught and some of my other siblings didn't get. But yeah, it's odd, you know. Being from an actor's family is just weird because when I was in the 3rd grade play and everybody else's parents and grandparents were squeezing them and saying, "Oh, you're the best one, you're fantastic," I was getting like, you know, okay, you upstaged yourself in the first act, and if you wait a beat after you cross to the couch, you'll get a laugh.
Right,
Mom, Dad, come on.
Right. You know, they were on you about it, and they were professional about it.
Yes, they were, and you know, it was the family business, so you had to take it seriously, and. I'm going to go to an odd place here, but you know, I like to say that, you know, if we were cobblers and I decided to become a cobbler, that they would, you know, have taken the same attitude about making shoes. Although the word cobbler is the only one that I know that describes a profession and a dessert. Can anyone else?
It's true.
I mean, you can clap. You can clap. I've discovered.
The peanut is neither a pea nor a nut.
Very good.
I thought it was odd fact night here.
This is going to be... I smell a top 10 list.
That's a legume, wrong show.
Yes,
We'll take it. Whoa, it is that. Oh, whatever. You were on The Sopranos.
I was.
And played a great character on The Sopranos. People loved your performance on that show. That show is so mythologized, and it's considered one of the greatest TV shows of all time. What was it like to work on that program?
The odd thing about it was that it was exactly like working on a TV program.
Right.
I mean, the writing was great, the actors were amazing, but, you know, you showed up, there's cameras, and there's a bunch of people standing around with tool belts, and, you know, there's some donuts and coffee. I mean, that was it.
Right.
But you just got to do really great material, and, you know, they were lucky enough to be the kind of hit where they could take their time and really do it right.
Well, what's also the nice thing about that show is it's going to be timeless now. Everyone's got the DVDs, and I think that's a show that people are going to be watching 20, 30 years from now.
I think so. I mean, I think one of the goals for an actor is to do something, you know, if you work in film or television, that someone wants to revisit. And if you do something that people want to watch twice, I think you're okay. I
know nothing about that kind of television. This show that you're working on, Private Practice, is a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy.
It is.
Is there any? But there's no McDreamy or McSteamy on your show. No one has a nickname yet. Is that right?
No, we're gonna do a little shout out to our Jewish friends. We're gonna do Dreamberg and Steenberg. And if that doesn't work, we can maybe go Von Dreamy, Von Steamy,
right.
or O Steamy.
O Steamy, thank you. I used to get that a lot in humid weather. Well, Private Practice airs Thursday nights at 10 on ABC. Tim, really good having you back on the show. Thanks for doing it. Tim Daly, everybody. We'll be right back. Bang Camaro coming up. Stick around.